Yeah, just obviously very excited to be home and be in front of our crowd, and hopefully the weather's going to hold out, and we'll be able to get Teal Nation and the Conwave out to come support us. And it's been, would we say, 47 days since we played one home game in 47 days. So our guys are looking forward to running out of the tunnel here on Thursday night.
Any update on Tad Hudson? I know he wasn't listed on the initial availability report in any capacity.
He'll probably be game time, but I think he'll be okay. Yeah.
And with that, I'm assuming you're going with Collier because you got to go with the hot hand. He's the one that's been playing the best.
Well, he's also gotten the most reps right now. It's kind of as we go through Tad, but yeah, that'd be a pretty good guess.
The biggest thing you worked on during the during the bye, so to speak, both on and off the field. I know you guys have been beat up.
Yeah.
Needed a little bit of rest too as well and get some of these guys back. Is there any chance some of these guys that were hurt maybe coming back?
Yeah, I feel like the bye week at Old Dominion, we were in a position that we had a lot of work and things, not that we don't still have a lot of work and things we need to improve on, but we had a lot of things to improve on. And because of that, we practiced a lot during that off week. And I felt like we were beat up and we limped into the next couple of games. I don't know that our guys truly recovered, and it showed. We played App without two guys. Shane hasn't played in, I don't know, a month. And I don't know that the guys recovered. So my focus was a lot more on recovery, the early part of the bye week, and then focused on Marshall and us, right? Really just continue and improve some of the techniques, fundamentals, the intricacies of the game that we need to continue to be and execute at a high level. And then obviously put the game plan in for Marshall. So that's really what the focus has been on.
Do you feel like, I don't want to say unlock a new level, I guess, but with Samari out there, just he kind of brings a different dimension for you guys on offense, putting up 45 against the app. Do you feel like your offense is finally kind of taking that next step here with 5 games left?
Well, I feel like in the last couple of games we have, even when Tad was in there, I think the biggest thing is the turnover margin. We're +3 in our 4 Sunbelt games. We were -11 in the beginning of the year. So when you're protecting the football and you're making good decisions, but your defense is also creating takeaways, you have more opportunities to score points. Marshall's very similar. They're +8. That's I think the Old Dominion game they were +5 or 6 in the game. So when those things happen, you like the results. So it's going to come down to stopping the run. Both teams run the football very, very well. It's going to come down to turnover margin and special teams plays. Both special teams to the hidden yardage and field position is what this game's going to come down to. 2 good football teams.
And halfway through Sunbelt play, 3-1, still a lot of goals on the table for you guys in terms of a Sunbelt championship. You've got to be feeling good about that with 5 games to go, that a lot of goals are still on the table, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And our goal really, we talk about it every week, is to win the one in front of us, just to go 1-0. The ultimate goal is to win the Sunbelt Conference Championship. We can't control that right now. What we control is the next one. And so our focus, our dedication, everything that we've done is really on us. The Chants can't beat the Chants. Like, we can't do that. And early in the year we did. And we were learning the lesson. We learned it the hard way. But we've also learned now that when we don't do those things, when we don't make those critical errors, when we don't turn the ball over, we don't make those critical penalties, what happens? Yeah, good results. And we've done a much better job in those things. And so we're showing improvement continually on both sides of the ball, which is the goal: play your best football towards the end of the season.
You guys are going to face a Marshall team that's second in total offense in the Sun Belt. Clearly, they're going to run the football and try to run it down your throat.
Yeah.
They got 2 really good running backs. Just talk about the run game and kind of how you're, planning on, attacking this run game.
Yeah, I think every week Coach JJ does a great job, and the defensive staff putting together a plan. If I'm not mistaken, I think App had the #1 offense going in the last week too. And so we found a way. Once we settled down a little bit after we gave up those 3 first touchdown drives, we held them to 9 points the rest of the game. So I feel like we'll be in a good shape. If our guys execute and they play really hard and they do what they're coached to do, we'll figure them out. They're going to have something. They've had a bye week. They've probably put some new wrinkles in. We're going to have to adjust. The first part of the game is going to be critical to see what are the new things. How do we make those adjustments? because there'll be good things that happen in the game and bad things that happen in the game. We have to move on and outlast them and continue to play for 4 quarters.
I know after the App game, you talked about how the defense in the first half was just a little bit tense. They weren't playing loose, but then they loosened up in the second half. Have you seen them kind of do that throughout the bye week and the prep week?
Yeah, I think our prep's been really good. I think sometimes when you play in a rivalry game, or maybe the game gets hyped up a little bit, that's certainly a concern for young guys. Again, you have a bunch of new players. You don't always know how they're going to respond. This will be the first time a national televised game. There's probably I'm sure there's guys on our football team that have never played in a nationally televised football game. And so there's going to be butterflies. It should be, all right? But I think once the game gets going and we can settle them down and they can relax and realize it's still about blocking, tackling, running, catching, and just doing the little things, we'll end up being okay.
Goes back to their offense for a moment. Del Rio Wilson, their quarterback.
Yeah.
What kind of dynamic does he bring to them? Does he remind you maybe Colton Joseph at ODU?
Yeah, he's similar. One thing, they didn't have him early in the year. I think he missed the Missouri State game, and but he's the cog now. Like he gets him going. He's been playing really well at a high level. He protects the football. I think he's only got 1 interception on the year. He moves the chains. He runs well. They have a big offensive line. They have good running backs. They've played as you mentioned, that they have a bunch of guys they played. They've had some injuries, so they just keep rolling guys in there, and they've all done a really good job for them. So I've been very, very impressed with how they play offensively and defensively. Coach Gibby's a good friend of mine, a good defensive coach, a great defensive mind. They're aggressive. They blitz a lot. They fly around and create a lot of negative yardage plays, which equates a lot of turnovers. That's why they have so many turnovers.
This game fun for you this week because I remember you've got a pretty good relationship with their head coach.
With Gibby, yeah. It's different, and I'll be honest. It's just we're just preparing. It's the next game, to be honest. Like there's so much going on, and there's with our player, with our team, with our players, with our practice, things around the game, the surrounding the game, that you can't get caught up too much in everything,
Coach, with Samari and what he does at quarterback, do you think the mentality of the offense has changed any? Do you think you're a more physical offense now?
I don't know that we weren't a physical offense. Maybe we weren't showing that based on what we were doing, right? I feel like even earlier in the season, when we were running the football and having opportunities to run the football, we were doing pretty good running the football. If you go back, South Al, you go back some of those games, second half, Charleston Southern, I go back to remember we threw the ball 5 times in the second half. All of them were runs, and we looked a lot better doing it. So, again, I think you need both. You have to be dynamic at both. But when you can run the football, you can control the tempo of the game. And when you can control the tempo of the game, you got a great chance of doing whatever it is you want to do. And both teams have been able to do that. Us and Marshall, they've been able to do the same thing. Run the football enough to control it and try to create big plays or eat up the clock, whatever it is. Create field position for them, much like we've been doing.
You mentioned Shane. Will he play, and then maybe a couple offensive linemen?
Yeah, I really, Zach and Shane both. They've been limited in practice in terms of they've been practicing. I don't know. I think both of them are going to be game time decisions. It's hard to tell. The want to play is there. It's a lot different when you're playing in the game and you're getting, like you may have to run from sideline to sideline to tackle a guy. Than in practice where you're half speeding it or you're going through like fits or whatever it is. So it's a little bit different. So I don't know like for sure doing those guys. I'd say they're doubtful, but they could play. I don't know that.
Last question, guys.
Collier said something about his relationship with Thomas and how great that they've bonded in a short period of time. Just having that connection with Elam still being out has got to be a major plus that you can have your center drop out, and then you have Thomas, who played center quite a few times over his career, step in and still have that juice there.
Yeah,
working together.
Yeah, you got to love Thomas Johnson. He's just, plays guard, plays center, played most of the center for us last year. Just durable, and you could count on him. And the thing about him, he provides leadership. He's an older guy that's got a lot of pelts on the wall, and losing Zach Elam's never easy. But when you replace him with a Thomas Johnson, you got to feel pretty good about that, you know.